An 80-year-old grandmother takes her 6-year-old granddaughter on a 3-day winter hunt at minus 65 degrees Celsius. No modern gear, no emergency beacon. Just caribou hide and knowledge passed down for 4,000 years. That child comes back alive, thriving, changed. Meanwhile, experienced adult campers die at minus 20 degrees Celsius with heated tents and satellite phones. What does that grandmother know that survival experts don't? 3 techniques so simple they sound like myths. But they're not myths, they're engineering. Here's what nobody talks about. Indigenous Arctic children don't just survive extreme cold, they thrive in it. They learn to hunt, play, explore, in temperatures that would hospitalize most adults within hours. And they're not genetic superhumans. They're using specific teachable techniques that work with your body's design, not against it. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you 3 methods that seem completely backwards. Breathing wrong on purpose. Wearing less, not more. Moving in ways that make no sense. Each one contradicts modern survival training. Each one has kept children alive for millennia. But first, we need to understand what minus 70 degrees Celsius actually does to a human body. Because without that context, none of this makes sense. So, how do you survive air cold enough to freeze your lungs? Here's where it gets counterintuitive. At minus 70 degrees Celsius, inhaling through your mouth is like breathing shattered glass. Moisture in your breath instantly freezes into ice crystals. Those crystals scrape lung tissue with every breath. After 30 to 60 minutes, you're looking at frostbite damage to airways. After 2 to 3 hours, pulmonary edema, fluid in lungs. You're literally drowning in frozen condensation. Modern mountaineers use face masks, scarves, neck gaiters, anything to warm air before it hits lungs. Seems logical, right? Except fabric traps moisture from exhaled breath. That moisture freezes solid within minutes. Now you're breathing through an ice-crusted barrier. Feels like suffocating slowly. Panic sets in, you rip the mask off. Cold air floods in. Game over. What Arctic grandmothers teach their grandchildren is completely different. Nose breathing only, never through the mouth. Your nasal passages are 3-inch heat exchangers. Turbinate bones create spiral airflow patterns. Air travels longer path, warming 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit before reaching lungs. Mucous membranes add moisture at body temperature. Exhaled air exits through mouth, not nose. Here's the genius most people miss. Kids are taught to exhale through barely parted lips. Creates back pressure that slows exhalation. Retains more CO2, which triggers calming response. Prevents hyperventilation from cold shock. The slight whistle sound? That's the thermal regulation working. Nuna's breath came in white clouds that froze instantly in the pre-dawn darkness. Her grandmother knelt beside her, weathered hands gentle on small shoulders. Breathe like the wolf, not the rabbit, her grandmother said in Inuktitut. Show me rabbit breath. Nuna panted through her mouth, quick and shallow. Within seconds her throat burned, her chest ached. Now, wolf breath. Nuna pressed her lips shut, drew air slowly through her nose. It felt wrong at first, like breathing through a narrow straw while drowning. But her grandmother's hand rested on her chest, counting. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. After 30 seconds, something shifted. The burning stopped. Her chest stopped aching. The air didn't feel like knives anymore. Your nose is afire, her grandmother whispered. Mouth breathing is like leaving your door open in winter. Everything freezes. But nose breathing... She tapped Nuna's nose gently. The fire stays inside. 3 hours later, 5 kilometers from camp, Nuna wasn't thinking about breathing anymore. Her body had remembered what her ancestors knew. Her nose automatically warmed every breath. Her lips stayed sealed except for slow, controlled exhales. The temperature hadn't changed, but she had stopped fighting it. But breathing right means nothing if you make the mistake every beginner makes with clothing. And this mistake, it'll kill you faster than the cold itself. Modern survival advice says layer up, add bulk, trap heat, synthetic base layer plus fleece, mid plus insulated parka plus shell. Sounds perfect for minus 70 degrees Celsius, right? Except you're now wearing 15 to 20 pounds of fabric. And here's what nobody warns you about. Sweat is a death sentence at minus 70 degrees Celsius. Your body produces heat through movement. Walk 200 meters in heavy layers, you sweat. That moisture has nowhere to go in synthetic fabric. It saturates your base layer against bare skin. The moment you stop moving, that wetness freezes solid. You're now wearing an ice jacket on the inside. Core temperature drops 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit within 10 minutes. Shivering starts, then stops. That's when you're dying. What Inuit elders teach is, wear less, not more. 1 layer of loose caribou hide, fur facing inward. Gaps at neck, wrists, waist, deliberate ventilation. Your body heat creates updrafts through those gaps. Moisture vents constantly before it can saturate. Move, vent, natural climate control. Sounds insane when it's minus 70 degrees Celsius outside. But dry skin at 95 degrees Fahrenheit beats wet skin at 98 degrees Fahrenheit every single time. Children wear surprisingly little by modern standards. Loose fur parka, pants, boots, that's it. No hats sometimes because head venting prevents sweat. No gloves for short tasks because wet hands freeze, dry hands don't. They're taught to monitor their warmth level constantly. Too warm? Remove a layer immediately. Slight chill? That's perfect. That's dry. 2 hours into the hunt, Nuna felt sweat trickling down her spine. Her grandmother had been right. Walking in heavy fur made you burn up fast. She wanted to take off her parka completely, but that seemed crazy. It was minus 65 degrees Celsius. Taking off layers meant freezing. Everyone knew that. Her grandmother stopped walking, turned, studied her granddaughter's face. "Your cheeks are red." "I'm fine, Anana," Nuna lied. Her grandmother's eyes narrowed. "Show me your hands." Nuna pulled off her mittens. Steam rose from her palms. Her grandmother's expression hardened. "You're wet." "Just a little." "Wet is dead." Her grandmother's voice cut like ice. "Take off your inner parka, now." "But it's now, Nuna." Trembling, from fear, not cold, Nuna removed her second fur layer. The minus 65 degrees Celsius air hit her arms through just 1 caribou hide. She gasped, certain she'd made a fatal mistake. Her grandmother watched without sympathy. Walk. They moved for 5 minutes. 10, 15. And something impossible happened. The sweating stopped. The air circulation through her parka's loose gaps pulled moisture away before it could soak in. Her core stayed warm, actually warmer than before, because she was dry. "You feel it now?" her grandmother asked. Nuna nodded, speechless. Comfort is the enemy. Slightly cold means you're doing it right. Your body burns fuel to stay warm. That fuel is life. Her grandmother adjusted Nuna's collar, creating a bigger vent gap. Never be comfortable. Be dry. Dry is survival. So, you're breathing right. You're dressed right. But there's one movement mistake that destroys everything. And modern people make it constantly without realizing. The modern approach says stay still, conserve energy. Survival manuals say minimize movement to preserve calories. Build shelter, get inside, stay motionless. Makes sense on paper. Movement burns fuel. But at minus 70 degrees Celsius, staying still means your extremities freeze. Hands go numb within 10 minutes. Feet within 20 minutes. Frostbite doesn't ask permission. Here's the paradox that confuses everyone. Big movements make you sweat, which means wet, which means hypothermia. No movement makes you freeze, which means frostbite, which means death. Modern campers get trapped between these two failures. They either overheat or freeze, nothing in between. What Arctic children learn is constant micro-movements. Not exercise, not jumping jacks, micro-adjustments. Flex and release toes inside boots every 60 seconds. Curl and straighten fingers inside mittens constantly. Shift weight from foot to foot while standing. Tiny shoulder rolls, neck rotations, ankle flexes. Each movement too small to generate sweat, but cumulatively generates 15 to 20% more body heat. Keeps blood flowing to extremities without moisture buildup. The technique breaks down like this. Hand circulation. Squeeze fist tight for 5 seconds. Release. Repeat. Feet. Lift heels slightly. Press toes down. Alternate every 30 seconds. Core engagement. Tighten and release stomach muscles periodically. The rhythm is never stop, never rush, never think about it. Becomes automatic within 3 to 4 hours of practice. Your body learns the pattern, runs it subconsciously. Here's the hidden benefit nobody talks about. Micro-movements prevent muscle stiffness from cold. If you need to run from danger, you can. Staying still for an hour at minus 70 degrees Celsius, your joints seize up. Try to sprint and you'll tear something. Constant, small motion keeps you combat ready. Ancient hunters needed to react instantly to prey or predators. This wasn't comfort engineering. It was survival engineering. They built a small snow shelter as darkness fell. Minus 68 degrees Celsius, according to her grandmother's old thermometer, though Nuna had stopped thinking in numbers. Cold was just cold. You take first watch, her grandmother said, settling into her sleeping fur. Wake me when your hands go numb. Nuna sat cross-legged at the shelter entrance, watching stars sharp enough to cut. Her grandmother was testing her. She knew that. The question was whether she'd pass. She started the micro-movements without thinking. Toes curling inside her boots. Right foot, left foot, right foot. Fingers squeezing inside mittens. 5-second holds, release, repeat. Shoulders rolling backward every few minutes. Weight shifting side to side. An hour passed. Her hands weren't numb. 2 hours. Her toes felt fine. Better than fine. They tingled with warmth from constant flexing. 3 hours. Something felt wrong. She should be freezing by now. She should be desperate to wake her grandmother and dive into her sleeping fur. But she wasn't. Her body hummed with small fire warmth, burning fuel so slowly she barely noticed. "Anna, Anna," she whispered. Her grandmother's eyes opened instantly, the way old hunters woke. Completely alert, no grogginess. My hands aren't numb yet. Should I keep watching? Her grandmother sat up, studied her granddaughter's face in the starlight, then smiled. Something Nuna had seen maybe twice in her entire life. "Your body remembers now," she said quietly. "You don't need to think about the movements anymore. They're breathing now. Part of how you exist in cold." How long did it take you to learn? 2 winters. You learned in 3 days. Her grandmother touched Nuna's cheek with bare fingers. "You'll teach your own granddaughter someday, faster than I taught you. Each generation learns quicker because we keep adding wisdom. Nuna sat with that thought as her grandmother returned to sleep. 4,000 years of knowledge flowing through her small hands, each grandmother adding something, each child carrying it forward. She wasn't just surviving minus 68 degrees Celsius. She was part of something older than ice. But here's what ties all three techniques together. And it's the part that breaks most modern people trying to learn this. The modern mindset treats cold as the enemy. We're taught to fight cold, resist it, defeat it. Every commercial, every ad, every weather report. Bitter cold, dangerous wind chill, brutal temperatures. Cold becomes something evil trying to kill you. That psychological framing creates physiological stress. Stress response dumps adrenaline, raises heart rate. Increased heart rate means more oxygen needed, which means heavier breathing. Heavier breathing breaks the nose breathing technique. Everything unravels from fear alone. The Arctic mindset is completely different. Cold is neutral. Grandmothers don't teach children to fight the cold. They teach them to exist with cold. It's not an enemy. It's a condition, like gravity. You don't fight gravity, you work within its rules. Same with minus 70 degrees Celsius. It has rules, you follow them. The reframe that changes everything is this. Cold doesn't want to kill you, it's not sentient. It's physics, not malice. Your fear of it causes more problems than the temperature itself. Children learn this through play, not lectures. Snow fort building at minus 50 degrees Celsius, just Tuesday. Hunting lessons at minus 65 degrees Celsius, normal education. The cold is part of life, not an invasion of it. How elders build this mindset in children is fascinating. Start exposure young, 2 to 3 years old, short periods outside. Never frame it as brave or tough, that implies abnormality. Frame it as learning the rules of winter. Teach through story, not warning. Your great-grandfather hunted in this cold, not be careful, it's deadly. Build familiarity through repetition until minus 40 degrees Celsius feels routine. The breathing reduction movement triangle all falls apart if you are mentally fighting the cold. Fear leads to stress, which leads to broken breathing, which leads to sweating, which leads to freezing. Calm acceptance leads to controlled breathing, which leads to dry warmth, which leads to survival. It's not about being tough, it's about not panicking. Panic kills faster than cold at minus 70 degrees Celsius. They walked the last kilometer in silence. Smoke from the village fires rose in the distance. Nuna could smell seal oil and hear sled dogs barking. Home. But she didn't feel the same person who'd left 4 days ago. Her grandmother stopped at the village edge, turned to face her. "You're different now," she said. Not a question. Nuna nodded. She'd survived 3 nights at minus 65 degrees Celsius. Hunted ptarmigan in conditions that would kill unprepared adults. Her body had changed, yes, but something deeper had shifted. "What's the most important thing you learned?" her grandmother asked. Nuna thought about the breathing, the clothing, the micro-movements. All of it mattered. But underneath everything was something simpler. The cold isn't trying to kill me. Her grandmother's eyes crinkled. Keep going. It's just there, like wind, like darkness. It has rules. If I follow the rules, it leaves me alone. And if you break the rules, then I die. But that's not the cold's fault. That's mine. Her grandmother gripped both her shoulders. You understand now. Most people never do. They think gear saves them. Technology saves them. Money saves them. None of that matters if you're fighting instead of flowing. Will you teach me more? Every winter, until you're teaching your own granddaughter. She paused, studying Nuna's face. You'll teach her faster than I taught you, because you'll add your own wisdom to mine. That's how this works. 4,000 years, each grandmother adding something small. The technique gets better, sharper, more alive. They walked into the village together. Nuna's mother ran out, grabbed her, checked for frostbite with frantic hands. Found nothing. No blackened fingers, no damaged skin. Just a small girl who'd learned to exist in minus 65 degrees Celsius the way her ancestors had for hundreds of generations. That night, Nuna's mother whispered to her, "Your grandmother took me on my first hunt when I was 7. I cried the whole first day. You didn't cry once." "Why would I cry?" Nuna asked, genuinely confused. Her mother kissed her forehead. "Exactly. So, here's what we've learned. 3 techniques that seem backwards, wrong, impossible, until you understand the engineering beneath them. Nose breathing warms air 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit before it hits your lungs. Prevents the ice crystal damage that kills unprepared adults within hours. The reduction method keeps you dry. And dry skin at 95 degrees Fahrenheit beats wet skin at 98 degrees Fahrenheit when you're facing minus 70 degrees Celsius. Comfort is the enemy. Slight chill means you're alive. Micro movements generate heat without sweat. Constant small adjustments keep blood flowing, prevent frostbite, maintain combat readiness. Never stop moving, never move big. But underneath all 3 is the mental shift modern people struggle with most. Cold isn't evil. It's not trying to kill you. It's physics. It has rules. Follow the rules, and a 6-year-old can thrive where experienced mountaineers die. Arctic grandmothers have been teaching these techniques for 4,000 years. Each generation adds refinements. The knowledge gets sharper, more tested, more alive. And here's the part that matters most. Your body already knows how to do this. These aren't superhuman abilities. They're baseline human abilities that central heating made us forget. The techniques still work. The engineering is still sound. All you need is someone to teach you the rules of cold the way grandmothers teach their granddaughters, one breath at a time. If this changed how you think about extreme cold survival, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into indigenous survival techniques that modern gear still can't replicate. And drop a comment. What ancient survival technique do you want me to cover next? Shelter building, food preservation, fire management in Arctic conditions? There's a whole series on traditional Arctic survival methods linked in the description. These aren't just history lessons, they're engineering principles that still work better than anything REI sells. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay learning, and remember, your ancestors survived worse than minus 70 degrees Celsius with nothing but knowledge and caribou hide. That's not ancient history. That's your blueprint.